Hey guys, this is Rudy G. Funk, and I just wanted to talk about a little bit of Baker Mayfield and analytics, a little Dorsey. I really wanted to talk about this because I think there's a lot of Browns fans that don't necessarily embrace analytics. You know, even though we hear pro focus guys on 850 all the time with Zagura and stuff, but sometimes seeing them's a little bit different. So, I charted up some stuff from Common Man Football to kind of show you this draft class, what they look like numerically. And first off, let me just read something that Common Man Football says, some of his research. Allow me to make a spectacle of myself here. Okay, listen to this. Every single long-term starting quarterback since 2007 had at least a 69 score when it came to their high school production. And this is out of 6,000 plus QBs. Okay, out of 6,000, except for one though. And I'll get to that later. Every Pro Bowl quarterback since 2007 had at least an 84 QB score. Pro Bowl. Now, almost every multiple all-pro quarterback since the 1958 draft class had at least a 90 total QB stat score, with the exception of one quarterback, and that is Brett Favre. So they're staggering. I mean, numerically, to have these numbers, you're going to be, there almost isn't any arguing that. These good quarterbacks have good numbers. That's just how it is, for the most part. And I just kind of wanted to run these over with you. I'm not going to do the starting numbers or the all-pro numbers. I just wanted to do just the Pro Bowl, just to kind of keep a perspective, And this is my little chart there, you see. Pro Bowl numbers for high school and college there. And those are, all the Pro Bowl quarterbacks had numbers of this or greater for the most part. So this is where our kind of analytics start. So, and I wanted to start with this year, kind of going through the six quarterbacks that kind of everybody knows. And this kind of lines up with Common Man Football. Was, if you watch his stuff, you saw his review of the six quarterbacks, and I'm going to start first I'm going to kind of go bottom up, and I have to say, I was, in my circle of friends, I was the first one pushing Josh Allen. We got to really watch this kid. He's got a, monster arm. Everybody saw that 70-yard pass, to the left on the run into the end zone, where only his receiver could get it, It was a great play, So I was really pushing for, we got to watch this Josh Allen kid. It looks like he's going to be pretty good in the draft. And then I saw his numbers. So here we go with the numbers. Make sure you can see these. Can you see those good? Not really. There it is. Okay, these are Pro Bowl numbers here. You see his numbers aren't very good. So when I saw these, I had to rewatch all of his verses and kind of run over all these red flags, because those numbers aren't very good. And I'm not saying, kind of like Common Man Football says, it's not a death sentence or anything. It's just maybe his learning curve might be much longer. He might not be good for like 5 years, which in Cleveland, you don't have that kinds of time. I think, you got a half a year? Okay, so those are his numbers, I'll just do it one more time. There we go. Get a good shot of that. And I'll keep these Pro Bowl numbers up to the right here. And here we go. Here's Lamar Jackson, which I really like watching. He's got a lot of cool stuff that he does. Can you see that? Oh, there it is. For God's sakes. And he's got some good FBS numbers. High school, he's kind of lacking, which, It could just mean learning curve. You know, he might not be good for 3 or 4 years or something like that. He's certainly athletic. There's no doubt about that. He does a lot of good stuff, but, you know, it kind of comes down to doing the right thing more often all the time. You know, I like Lamar. Actually, this is almost kind of a testament that this was a very good draft class here for quarterbacks, you know, having 6 guys to show you. Okay, here's another one. I think this might have been Common Man Football's guy. I think he might have liked Josh Rosen on all of them. Those are some pretty good numbers. Josh Rosen. And here was, you know, no offense, Bake Man, but Mason Rudolph's numbers. Pro Bowl looking stuff, a lot of these guys. And we get to everybody else is kind of number one. Anybody that wasn't a Baker Mayfield guy was certainly this guy. Some pretty good numbers there. And last but not least, for that draft class, let's look at the Bake Man. Ooh, pretty good numbers, Bake Man. Doing the right thing a lot. So, you know, do we think that Dorsey embraces analytics a little bit? He's still got DePodesta, and he certainly drafted, you know, an analytical dream right there in Baker Mayfield. I'm just going to do one more because, you know, we got this fella here. And speaking of outliers on, I'll repeat it one more time. Every single long-term starting quarterback since 2007 had at least a 69 score when it came to their high school production. And this is out of 6,000 quarterbacks, okay? Sorry to be redundant. Except for one. Tyrod Taylor. He's an outlier. Now, I don't really have too much to say about Tyrod because I could really only find highlights, you know, which I pretty much, you know, highlights are great, but, you know, I like to watch the verses. I like to watch, you know, every pass, and there isn't a lot on there at Tyrod Taylor, but, you know, the dude takes care of the ball, you know, and that's a good thing. I mean, that's paramount, I think. And I kind of already hear some of the media kind of like saying he takes care of the ball too much, which, I don't know, it's a little ridiculous. Not totally. I kind of get what they're saying with the risk factor and not throwing downfield. But if you're taking care of the ball, you know, you really give yourself an opportunity to beat some of these 500 teams, you know. Okay, let's keep going while we're at it. Okay, I'll keep the old. So speaking of John Dorsey, whether he embraces analytics or not, I got 4 quarterbacks here from last year. All right. There's number 4 right there. Didn't Dorsey say that Kaiser was his number 4 quarterback? And, you know, these numbers aren't really that bad. I mean, but, you know, I wouldn't classify it as bad. You know, but great. I don't classify it as great either. You know, it's good. You know, I kind of like, you know, I like this pick when they pick Kaiser. But, you know, like I said, 2, 3, 4 years, he's probably going to be good. It's more of a learning curve thing. And I think I really did like the pick, you know, that we even though we passed on some of the other quarterbacks, which I'm getting to, his numbers weren't that bad. You know, like Common Man Football says, it's not a death sentence. So that was the number 4 guy from that year, from last year. And here is number 3 guy, Patrick Mahomes. I really liked Patrick Mahomes. I thought he was kind of like a outlier in a certain sense. You know, his numbers were particularly great. But, you know, watching him, I saw him do a lot, kind of like Lamar Jackson. I saw him doing a lot of good stuff. It didn't look like he had too much trouble. Maybe reading defenses or something like that, which, you know, can be cured, I guess. But, yeah, there's Patrick Mahomes' numbers. He was the number 3 guy. And here we go. Everybody knows this one too. Hometown favorite, Mitch Trubisky. Pretty good numbers. He's got Pro Bowl numbers. You kind of see how his first year went, you know, with those kind of numbers. Well, you know, he didn't really do that great, but, you know, they kind of did very well with him with the dink and dunk and, you know, see what your whole team can do. You know, it's not a bad way to do things, I don't think. And here is Common Man Football's number one, Deshaun Watson. Pretty good numbers. Look at those. I think a lot of you agree, right? So I'm kind of showing you this just to see maybe you embrace, you know, analytics. You know, I think these numbers mean something, and we talk about football guy and all that stuff, and I really think numbers shows us a lot. It really shows us a lot about doing the right thing. Okay, let's go another year. Let's go the year before that. And I threw Kevin Hogan in there because I wanted it to be, you know, a reference to the Browns. So here we go. Get the Pro Bowl numbers. Oops, I'm covering his name up. So there's Kevin Hogan. Oh, there he is. I got him on the screen. So many good quarterbacks here. I forget that their numbers might not be that good. I got to hold it up good enough. Okay. Kevin Hogan. And I'm sure you're probably going to be upset with this one, but these are Carson Wentz's numbers. Now, you notice there's nothing on the left there. And it's kind of, if you saw my other video, it's hard for Common Man Football to calculate because he was FCS, which, you know, I think it's like I said, it's like 13% of FCS actually makes it in the NFL. So you really want a large, you know, like I said, he's doing like 6,000 quarterbacks in the last 10 years with his high school production, you know, and he's got really good, he's got good high school numbers, but he couldn't calculate the FBS stuff because he was FCS. So in an analytical view, you can kind of understand why they might have passed on Carson Wentz. You know, I mean, what really would have happened if he would have wound up starting, you know, that year, which he would have. So I'll just kind of leave that up for debate. But I just wanted to show you his high school numbers were good. And he was probably good, you know, he was good in college too, but there was no numerical way to give it a value. So there's Carson Wentz. And here we go. Jared Goff. Had pretty good FBS production there. His high school's kind of lacking. You know, didn't quite make that threshold. But, you know, watching his first year, he had a pretty bad first year. Got into his second year, and they got him into a system that really works for him. So, you know, it looks like he's going to be good too. And I have to say right here, I really like a lot of these quarterbacks. I kind of can't wait to watch all of them, you know. But we can't have all of them. You know, we draft, you know, it isn't fantasy football. But, you know, there's Jared Goff's numbers. And here we go. You know this guy, don't you? Dak Prescott. Some pretty good Pro Bowl numbers there. So he analytically is the second best of that class right there. So everybody shouldn't be surprised at how well he did, you know, with a good team. And kind of like what Eagles Truth said, you know, he had a running game, he had, you know, one of the best lines in the league, you know, and then Carson Wentz, you know, kind of has the same now. I mean, they won the Super Bowl. So there's old Dak. He's probably going to be a good quarterback. And there we go. Last but not least, 2016's draft, the number one analytical quarterback. Who's that guy? Look at those numbers. Doing the right thing a lot. I wonder if, getting down to the end here, whether you're going, well, I get the numbers, I saw the numbers, I really agree with you know, how you could get an analytical study of a quarterback before you start watching fundamentals, or you're going, Cody Kessler, that guy sucks. Analytics are garbage because of it. Is this the proof that analytics are garbage, or is Cody Kessler a good quarterback? I don't know. But I think it proves a little bit, especially with them getting rid of Kaiser. And with Baker Mayfield, Baker Mayfield was Common Man Football's #1 analytical quarterback the year before. Deshaun Watson, numerically, analytically, was Common Man Football's #1 quarterback. I'm sure the one you disagree with is the year before that how could Cody Kessler have better numbers than Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, or Jared Goff, despite, I'm sure, being on the last place team. Probably has a lot to do with that, but a lot of people don't want to admit it, and that's okay. But I think analytics are certainly worth putting some effort into initially. You definitely want to go there first, I think. I mean, I think guys like Matt Wallman and Vach Lombardi, these guys see numbers, they see production. So they probably watch a lot more football than I do, but I like to go to analytics first and then watch tape and see whether these numbers match up. And I think it's undeniable that not only do we have a lot of good quarterbacks in these last 3 years, and I can't wait to watch all of them because football rules, but I think what I just shown you was a lot of proof that analytics do work. And with the Dorsey thing, that Dorsey does embrace analytics, not only because, DePodesta is still there, but he gave a couple of nuggets of truth with Kaiser and obviously taking Baker Mayfield as the #1 quarterback. When you had another quarterback who was a little bit taller, people thought were a little bit bigger, more of a survival rate type thing. He took Baker Mayfield over him. So there's no doubt in my mind that he embraces analytics, and I'm okay with that, So I just kind of wanted to run all those through with you and see if it changes some minds. Do you feel the same? Were you with me up until the very end when I showed you the Cody Kessler numbers? But, Cody Kessler had some very, very impressive elite numbers. So I still like Cody. I'm looking forward to seeing him with the Jaguars, unless he's playing us, Jaguars. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. God bless you. Peace.